So good afternoon once again, and welcome to the second session of DTN Geoinformatics. So I have updated or modified again the presentation slide. So please download an updated version from Slack under the general channel. Okay. So who's a first timer here? Yeah. Okay. So maybe if you're a little bit confused on some of the parts, just raise your hand and we could, how to say, explain it briefly in terms of concepts. So the system that we're going to design as a review is like this. So this is the workflow of the system. So basically, we have a data center Android application that will request GPS coordinates and send them through to the database server through SSH. So I don't know if you still remember, but last week our exercise was to connect to the database DB2 and create your own database, create a table, and add some information. So basically, that's what we're gonna do. Concept-wise, you will not be creating your own application. But there's a Java application that will do that for you. So we call it post store. So it will save the data from your mobile device and add it to the database. Okay, so the first part is the data center application trying to send the information to the post store. So what data is obtained by the data center application? So these are the data that you will be sending to the database, that your terminal MAC address of the device, your GPS latitude and longitude, and the orientation, which is extracted from the device, from the motion sensors like the gyroscope, or for short, gyro, and the accelerometer. Then second, the data center will request a connection to the server. So for today's session, we will be accessing DB3, not DB2, through SSH using the port forwarding function. So these are the location parameters that you will be sending to post store. So the MAC address, the GPS latitude and longitude, and the orientation of your mobile device. And I don't know if you're familiar with the gyroscope sensor. So basically, when you have an application and when you turn your phone, the application will turn like from portrait to landscape, right? So basically, the gyroscope is the one doing that, or is able to detect that. And for the accelerometer, when you shake your phone, like for example your iPhone, you shake it and then it will undo something, right? So basically that's the accelerometer that detects the changes in motion. So this is the system workflow. So we will be focusing first on the Android application. So first, we request and receive coordinates and we send the data to the server. So this is done by the data center Android application. So I'll be showing how the application works. So, okay. Can you see this? Oops, sorry. So basically, this is the data, the application. Sorry, it's in Japanese, but I think everyone here can read. So first, you have to select the server that you want to connect. So for me, I want to, if it's the first time that you're running the application, you would want to register the server or register your account. So you're gonna have to do this and input all the necessary information here. So the host name will be the database, so it's db3.ertl.jp. Your username will be the username that I gave out to you, and the password is the one that I gave out to you. And you also have to edit this part, which is the port number. So I'll explain to you this later on. So once you've added the your account, so basically you just have to connect to the server. Why is it running? Hold on. Anyway, so after doing that, you have to select, you will be selecting the desired table. So you will be creating this, and you have to select between manual or automatic updates or that sort. So this is the screen flow actually of the data sender. So once you are done with your programming, then you can just like based on this slide on how to run the application. So first thing first, please download the project from this URL, extract the file, and run Android Studio, import the project, browse and select the extracted file, and select a destination directory for your project. Okay. So please do that now.
Where is the latest slides?
It's in Slack, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So after extracting, importing, and viewing the files in your in Android Studio, you would probably see these classes. So we have our main screen for data sender. It will be under activity main.java. So please try to find this. It should be under Java folder and com.example.datasender or something. And you also have the connection management, which will be under the activity port forward class. And you have your connection settings under this class, your connection details, your table list, your update control, your manual update settings, your GPS information acquisition, and your orientation information acquisition. So try to somehow find each of these classes in your project, and I'll be going around to check. The second part is the post store Java application. So basically, it's a application written in the Java language, and it is the one who's going to store the data it receives from your Android application to the database. So I think you did DTF in Java, right? So basically, these are the features of Java, and just some review on like the design of a Java class. So this is an example of a particular class. So it's a Java program named sample class, and it has a method called setValue, and it also has a variable named value. This one, and as you can see, its modifier is private. Is set to private, meaning that other members of the other classes are not able to view the said variable. However, if you set it to public, then it's however, if you set this to public, then other members of other classes are able to view this. Let's say, for example, this method function, it's set to public, so other members of other classes are able to use this function to access this class. Okay. Next, in order, for example, if you want to use this sample class, you just have to create an instance of the sample class. So basically, the class name, then the variable or the instance. And then I've mentioned before that you are able to access, one of the method function is setValue. So you could actually do this. So PostStore is written in Java. So when you access PostStore, you will find out that the programming language is, or it's written somewhat like this. Okay, so as I've mentioned before, PostStore relays the information received from data sender, your Android application, to the PostgreSQL database management system. Whereas in the previous session, we were using MySQL database management system, right? So for this application, we're going to use PostgreSQL database. So this will be the flow of the exercise for today. First, you have to create a table that will store our position information in the courseware database. Then you have to run the post-store Java application for it to start waiting for the data sender data transmission. And using your mobile device, you have to run data sender. Okay. So basically, this is the workflow. So first, let's start with the first one, creating the table. So please create the table by logging into db3.ertl.jp. So basically, you have to open and run PuTTY or Teraterm and use your account name and password provided. And you have to create the table using your username. So this is how you access the courseware database. So I think you will notice the similarities, right? If it's MySQL, just put your MySQL. But for today, we're going to use PostgreSQL, right? So it's just basically, you just edited the MySQL to PSQL. And your username is courseware. And the password for courseware is, I will write it on the whiteboard. And once you are in courseware, please create the table with the table name test underscore your username. And yeah, I think you're familiar with this part already. You could actually check if you're the list of the tables, right? What's the command? Anyone knows? /dt and see if you created your table. Please exit courseware. Exit courseware, and you have to type in the following codes under db3. So exit courseware and type these 2 lines in the command line. Yeah. So it's tarxvfz. And in this particular directory, you will find the post-store Java application, and change to that extracted directory. So cd post-store. Okay. /exit or yeah, or /q, I think. Does it work?
Yes.
Okay. So if you don't know any of the commands, just type in help. Okay. And then once you've done this, we have to update the following files. So first, we have to update server main.java and PostgreSQL dbbase.java. And in server main.java, we have to change the value for the variable connection port. And please change it to 55 plus any number. So this will be your unique number, so please remember this. And in dbbase.java, we have to register db name, which is courseware, db user, which is courseware, and db password, which is the one in the whiteboard. So how are you gonna edit this file? So we're gonna use Emacs to edit the file. So basically, once you extracted the file and you change to the post-store directory, just type in Emacs and then the file name. So first, when you type in server main.java, please change the value for the connection port. And then once you're done, please press Ctrl X and Ctrl S to save the file. And to close the file, Ctrl X and Ctrl C. And after you've edited server main.java, go to dbbase.java. And in dbbase.java, please change the db name and db user to courseware, and db password to the this value. And then save the file, and then close the file. Okay. So let's do that up to this point. Okay. Okay. So let's do this first. extract the source code. Find connection port and change the value for that particular name, a variable name. Should be unique. 55 and the password is this. So please do not use your username and password. Whenever you make changes to server main.java and dbbase.java, so Control X and Control S to save the files, and to close, Control X and Control C. You have edited the following files and save them. You have to build and run the post-store Java application. So in the command line, just type make. And after that, after the processing, just type this by. After you've built and run post store, connect your Android device to the USB port and run the application. And let's see if it goes through. So is everyone able to do this? Run your Android device, run the application in the Android device. Who's finished? So after connecting your Android device to the USB, run the application and try to do this. So under server connection, add a server. So your host name is db3.ertl.jp. Your username is your own account name in the paper and your password. And the connection port, this value needs to be your connection port value, which you have set in server main.java. Okay? And after that, click add. Sika. And after that, connect to whatever you added in the previous slide. For example, if you set your name to lecture or db1, try to click on that and connect. Okay. Once you have connected, try to go to table list, which is from the main screen, and select the table that you've created in courseware. Okay. However, actually, when you try to click on the table list, nothing will happen. So you need to add more information, or you have to add more code to the project file. So in order to fix this, we need to add one activity, one service, and one dialog. So first, let's do the activity. So in main, you have to edit this file, activity send select.java. It's under the Java folder under main. And try to look for the comments to do activity and satisfy the comments labeled this particular statement. For example, if the statement says uncomment this code, try to remove the comment section. Okay? So just do first the to-do of activity. Okay, for this part. If you have questions, just let me know. After that, uncomment the code from the following classes. And this classes actually calls activity send select.java. So you have to do some coding in this particular file. So activity main.java, activity table list.java, and activity port forward.java. So just go through it very slowly. And if you're not sure, just call my attention. Okay, so let's do this first for now. And I'll be going around. So from here, right? So in main activity send selected Java, remove the commented code. So satisfy the comments labeled to do activity. So basically what you have to do is go to main, so data sender main, and then activity send select.java. Okay. So here, so just ignore this. So here it says, to do activity, you must remove the comment. So basically what you have to do is remove the comment. Okay. Right? And then after that, you have to go through the code and look for the to-do activity. So I think in your IDE, it will have like a blue color at the side. So you just have to click on that. And the next one is, for example, you encounter this particular comment. To do activity, you must call this particular method. So how are you gonna do that? Like, how do you call a method in Java? For example, in my example in the slide, I wanted to call set value. How am I gonna do that? So basically, if you base it on the previous example, previous if statement, here it just called onClick item sent. So here, if we want to call this method, just go through the code and look for that particular method that does that. So I think it does this, right? So you just have to call this particular statement from that if-else statement. So this, there. So you have to go through all the to-do activities, okay? So do this for this particular if statement, and this. Just until here. Okay. So once you're done with activity send selected Java, please call my attention so I could check before you move on to the next source code. Try to run the app again and see if you can access the manual and automatic updates view. But in this at this particular time, you cannot obtain the position yet. Okay. So let's do it from here until here. So basically, it's the same thing as doing what you did before. So you just have to satisfy the comments labeled to do service. Okay. So let's go through some examples. So under sensor, compass.java. And let's say, for example, this one, to do service. Oh, sorry. To do service, you must remove the comment. So basically, you just remove this and remove this. Okay. Okay. So here on sensor changed, to do when sensor values were changed. So a hint here, you just have to place here the variable that somehow its value changes when the sensor values change. So you have to base it on the previous code. So what variable should it be? Okay. Anyway, I'll give you some time to think about, but I want to point out one particular to do in activity send select, and I think most of you sort of got it right, but not really. So let's see, where is it? Correct, this one. To do activity, you must set the azimuth data. So what do you think are the two parameters that has to be placed here? First parameter, there are two parameters, right? What's the first parameter? Anyone can guess? Hongjin, what do you think?
What is the
Azimuth? Correct. So basically, it's just, can't explain it very, but it's just a variable that you get from your motion sensor. So using the compass. Correct. This one, hold on. So what do you think should be the value here? It's a string with variable azimuth, right? Okay. I think most of you got it right here. But what should be the parameter for the second one? I think most of you use double, right? But azimuth has a float value, so you have to use float.to string. Okay. So we're here. What else? So you have to put in here the variable name that detects if there's a change in the sensor values, and you have to remove this comment. Okay. And that's that. And after satisfying the comments labeled to do service, you have to go to the onResume method from activity main.java, wherein we call the service. Okay. So we go to main and check the onResume method. So here you have to start the service for the compass. So how do you do that? I think it's in one of the slides. So here you have to do that here. And after that, add a service to the Android manifest. So in your Android manifest XML file, you have to add service here. Add the compass service. Okay? Right. And then after that, try to run the updated app, and you'll be able to see that the orientation information will be sent to the database. Then you need to add the dialog. So please refer to the user interface exercise on slide 16. I think we did this last session, wherein you create a new Android XML file, and then you select the linear layout and set the file name to send timer setting, and then you drag and drop a plain text value, and you edit the ID and name it send timer setting, and then you add number decimal to the text field, and then you edit the ID and name it to send timer setting edit. So this is just the same as our exercise last session. And then after that, go back to activity send select.java, and on item click call, on item click set send timer, uncomment this method and then satisfy the comments for to do dialog. And then if you run the updated app, you should confirm the new dialog. So after this, basically it's the end, and then we'll just move on to debugging your application and visualizing the information in this web page. Okay? So you have until 4:30 to finish everything.